Good morning, students. So today we will be starting a next chapter of science, chapter number 4, structure of atom. So there is a chapter number 3 in your book whose name is atom and molecules. In that chapter now they have easily described that matter is made up of particles that are known as the atoms. And this is this simple experiment you have observed in the childhood also. When you rub a comb with your hair and you rub a paper with your hair, this comb will pick up the paper. When you do the rubbing, this comb will also become charged and paper will also become charged. So when you are rubbing the comb with your hair, then the comb is going to get charged. So this thing we know the comb is a matter and matter is made up of atoms. So many atoms are there in comb. So atom consists of charged particles. You can say that. But there are some scientists who discovered these charged particles in an atom. Example is like J.J. Thomson. In 1900, he is the person who discovered the electron, and electron is a subatomic particle of an atom, and it's a negatively charged particle. And E. Goldstein in 1886 he discovered, when he observed a gas discharge, he discovered the presence of new radiations. That means he has seen some kind of new radiations and he named them as canal rays, and these canal rays are they are made of positively charged particles. That means the atoms are also having positively charged subatomic particles. So Thomson explored electron and Goldstein explored positively charged subatomic particles. Later on it was discovered the positively charged subatomic particle has the same charge as that of the electron in magnitude. The charge held by electron is this 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb minus, and the charge held by proton is plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. That means they are equal in magnitude, but signs are different. Electron is negatively charged and proton is positively charged. And remember one thing, the mass of proton is 2000 times heavier than the mass of electron. That means electron is light in weight and proton is heavier in weight. Electron is represented by E negative and proton is represented by P positive. Theories explained later on that proton is present in the center of an atom and electrons are present around the protons. This has been explained by the later on discovered theories. As proton is very heavy, so it is not easy to detach from the atom. So electron is easy to detach from the atom. When rubbing is done on a matter, some electrons they get detached from the atoms of that matter. So what are the drawbacks of this Thomson model of an atom? See, the drawback is that so many scientists they discovered another models which are describing the structure of atoms, and there were some observations from their conducted experiments. And this J.J. Thomson model of an atom, the structure of an atom, is not able to explain the observations that are obtained in the experiments carried out by other scientists to get the structure of atom. So it is unable to explain the observations. So the next scientist who gave the structure of an atom is Rutherford, and his model name is Rutherford model of an atom. What he did, he has taken a gold foil and he has taken the fast moving alpha particles, and he made these fast moving alpha particles to fall on the gold foil. Fast moving alpha particles will strike the gold foil. Why he selected gold foil? He selected gold foil because it is very thin, size of the 1000 atoms thick. You know, atom is very small in size, it can't be seen with eye. So what are these alpha particles? These alpha particles are the helium charged particles. 2 is to 4. 2 positive, helium 2 positive, which is having a mass of 4u. It's a helium positive charged particle. Alpha particle is a helium positive charged particles. So these fast moving alpha particles, they are having a sufficient amount of energy, enough amount of energy. So when they strike the gold foil, Rutherford assumed that there will be deflections in the alpha particles when they strike with the subatomic particles of the atoms of gold foil. Gold foil is also having some atoms. So when these alpha particles strike the gold foil, that means they are going to strike with the subatomic particles of the atoms of gold foil. And he expected large deflections. That was his expectation. But what has really happened, we will discuss that. Alpha particles are heavier in size as compared to protons also. So large angle deflections were not observed, not expected, or were not observed. So when these alpha particles, they made to hit on the gold foil, very large number of alpha particles went through this gold foil without any deflection. Large number of alpha particles. Very few number of alpha particles suffered deflection through small angles, and very few of the alpha particles bounced back along the same path. So when these alpha particles, they are hitting the gold foil, a large number of alpha particles, they passed undeflected. Undeflected means they have not deflected from their path, they continue to move in their original path. So some alpha particles are deflected by small angles like this. This alpha particle is going like this, it has been deflected by small angle, it has been deflected by small angle, okay. And very few number of alpha particles bounced back like this. This alpha particle is going and it bounced back along the same direction. Why these observations have happened? Now we will explain these observations. That means gold foil is having atoms, and these atoms are having large vacant spaces in between the atoms. That means a large amount of space is empty inside the atom of gold foil. That's why large number of alpha particles passed undeflected. They have not suffered any kind of deflection. But very few deflected by small angle means positive charge is present in a small area. Very few number of alpha particles deflected by small angles. This proves this positive charge is concentrated in a small area. Very less number of alpha particles bounced back. That means positive charge is present in a very less volume. So these are the explanation of observations. That is very important. So what are the features of the end features of the Rutherford model of an atom? Atom consists of a positively charged sphere that is known as the nucleus. He has said that a positive charge sphere is present in the atom, and he named that sphere as a nucleus. And in the further observation, he revealed electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular path. That means electrons, they are not embedded in the nucleus, they are revolving around the nucleus in circular paths. And at the end, he also gave the concept that the size of nucleus is very small as compared to size of a atom. That means that's why deflections were very small, and the size of this nucleus is very small. And what are the drawbacks of Rutherford model of an atom? He has given a point that electrons, they are revolving around the nucleus. Okay, when an electron is revolving in a uniform circular motion, it gets accelerated. And when it gets accelerated, it will start releasing out energy. And when this will start releasing out energy, its energy will get over with time, and one time will come, it will fall into the nucleus, and this atom will become unstable. But this never happened. So he is not able to explain the stability of an atom. So this is the game. that means electrons are revolving, that means they will be having acceleration, and while acceleration they will lose some energy and they are going to fall into the nucleus with time, and atom would have become unstable. But this is not the case, this is not happening. So Rutherford is not able to explain the stability of an atom. Thank you and have a nice day.